For decades, humanity believed it was alone, reduced to scattered fleets, wandering through the void like ghosts of a fallen world. The memory of Earth's destruction still haunted every survivor, etched into their bones like a scar that would never heal. And then, against all odds, a signal was detected. Weak, distorted, but undeniably human. It came from deep within enemy territory, from a sector long thought inaccessible, a graveyard of ships swallowed by alien patrols. At first, the commanders dismissed it as impossible, a trap or a fragment of old transmissions bouncing across the stars. But the young captain, burdened with the weight of his people's survival, felt something stir. If there was even a chance that other humans still lived, hidden in the heart of hostile space, it could mean salvation. Or it could mean death. With no time for hesitation, he made the choice that would change the course of history: to follow the ghostly signal into the abyss. The decision was made, but the path ahead was a descent into darkness. The signal pulsed from the heart of alien-controlled space, a region crawling with warships and patrol fleets. Every star along the route was a trap waiting to be sprung, every system a battlefield drenched in wreckage of those who had tried before. The young captain ordered the fleet into silence. Lights dimmed, engines cooled, and their ships became shadows drifting through the void. Days turned into weeks, every second stretching into eternity, as alien signals flickered across their sensors. More than once they brushed dangerously close to discovery, their lives hanging by the thin veil of stealth. Inside the ships, whispers grew. Some believed the mission was madness, that no signal was worth risking extinction. Others clung to it like a spark of hope, the promise of kin long lost. The closer they came, the stronger the pulse grew, a heartbeat in the abyss, guiding them deeper into enemy territory. At last, the signal led them to a star system shrouded in anomalies, its planets cloaked by dense nebulae and magnetic storms that scrambled sensors. It was the perfect hiding place, too perfect. The fleet slipped cautiously through the interference, scanners straining against the static. Then through the swirling clouds they saw it, a world alive with lights, human lights. Cities carved into the rock, orbiting stations and defense platforms that bore the unmistakable design of Earth's lost era. Against all odds, a colony had survived here, cut off from the war, thriving in secret beneath the shadow of alien dominion. Shock rippled through the fleet. For the survivors who had lived decades believing themselves the last of their kind, the sight was like glimpsing a dream. But the young captain's eyes narrowed. No enclave could have remained hidden this long without help. The question burned in his mind. Had these humans survived on their own? Or had they made a bargain with the enemy? The fleet approached with caution, broadcasting encrypted codes long forgotten by most of humanity. For a tense moment there was silence, only the hum of the nebula around them. Then a voice answered. It was human, unmistakably so, but calm, measured, almost rehearsed. "You should not have come here," the voice warned. As their ships descended into orbit, they were met not with celebration or open arms, but with sleek warships rising from the hidden colony, weapons charged and ready. The young captain ordered his fleet to hold fire, demanding parley instead of battle. Finally, after long hours of negotiation, permission was granted to land. On the planet's surface, they were greeted by humans dressed in strange uniforms, their insignias unknown, their eyes sharp and guarded. The Enclave had endured, yes, but the way they carried themselves spoke of secrecy and of an allegiance not fully revealed. The young captain felt it immediately. This was not a reunion. It was a test. In the council chambers of the Enclave, the truth slowly unraveled. These humans had not simply hidden from the alien empires. They had struck a bargain. Decades ago, when Earth fell and the swarm of war tore across the galaxy, this colony was spared. In exchange, they pledged silence, obedience, and a strict boundary never to be crossed. The aliens allowed them to live as long as they remained useful, supplying rare minerals and serving as eyes within this sector of space. It was survival bought with loyalty to the very forces that had slaughtered billions. For the Enclave's leaders, it was pragmatism, a calculated sacrifice to preserve their bloodline. But for the young captain and his fleet, it was betrayal. They had bled, lost families, and carried the ashes of Earth, while here, others endured in comfort under the shadow of the enemy. Rage clashed with disbelief, and the question burned hotter than ever. Were these survivors still their people? Or traitors dressed as kin? The air in the chamber grew heavy, as if the very walls could feel the weight of divided blood. On one side, the weary survivors of the fleet, scarred by decades of war and loss, demanded unity. To them, these Enclave humans were a chance to rebuild what was stolen, to gather strength for one last fight to reclaim their place in the stars. But the Enclave's leaders bristled at such words. They had carved stability in the shadow of giants, raising generations who had never known the horrors of the front lines. War was a nightmare they refused to awaken. Soldiers from both sides stared at one another, seeing the same eyes, the same features, yet shaped by two very different paths. Brothers in blood, strangers in purpose. Whispers of betrayal rippled through the fleet, while Enclave citizens murmured fears of being dragged into a war long abandoned. The young captain stood at the center, torn between rage and hope, knowing a single decision could ignite a civil war among humanity itself. As debates turned into heated arguments, alarms suddenly shattered the Enclave's uneasy calm. The alien fleets had arrived. For decades, the colony's pact had kept them hidden, but the signal of the young captain's fleet had not gone unnoticed. Across the stars, warships now converged on the system, their massive silhouettes blotting out the light of the nebula. Panic erupted within the Enclave. Some leaders accused the newcomers of dooming them all, while others argued the truth was inevitable, that no bargain lasts forever. The young captain, watching the skies burn with approaching armadas, felt the crushing weight of destiny press down upon him. The humans of the fleet had nowhere else to run, and the Enclave could no longer pretend to be invisible. The fragile illusion of peace was broken. Humanity had been found, and now, for the first time in generations, they would have to fight, not against each other, but side by side, or perish together in silence. The void erupted into chaos as alien warships descended like predators upon their prey. The Enclave's defenses lit the darkness with storms of plasma and missile fire, while the young captain's battered fleet launched in formation, engines screaming against the tide. For the first time, the two branches of humanity fought side by side, one forged in war, the other in fragile peace. Alien swarms poured into the system, their numbers overwhelming, their weapons devastating. Ships shattered like glass, debris raining across the stars. On the ground, insectoid legions breached the colony's fortresses, their screeches echoing through the ruined streets. Yet the humans refused to yield. Every shot, every sacrifice, was fueled not only by survival, but by the burning realization that their future depended on unity. The young captain led from the front, his voice echoing through the comms. No more hiding. No more running. Humanity fights here. And for a fleeting moment, divided blood beat with a single heart. The battle raged without mercy, and soon it became clear. The alien armada would not relent. For every enemy ship destroyed, 3 more emerged from the shadows of the nebula. Humanity was bleeding out, piece by piece, its fragile alliance hanging by a thread. Then came the turning point. The Enclave's leaders revealed a secret weapon hidden deep within their world, an ancient superreactor capable of unleashing a catastrophic energy pulse. It was designed as a last resort, a doomsday device that would obliterate friend and foe alike. Fear spread like wildfire, but the young captain understood. Without sacrifice, there would be no tomorrow. He volunteered to lead the mission, piloting a crippled flagship to deliver the reactor straight into the heart of the alien fleet. As the engines burned and alarms screamed, he sent one final transmission to both fleets. If humanity is to endure, it must rise from blood and fire. Remember this moment. And then he vanished into the storm. The flagship pierced through the chaos, engines burning with a brilliance brighter than the stars themselves. Alien vessels swarmed to intercept, but it was too late. In a single blinding instant, the reactor detonated. The nebula erupted with a wave of energy so fierce it tore entire fleets apart, reducing warships to molten fragments scattered across the void. Silence followed, broken only by the static of ruined comms and the ragged breaths of survivors. The Enclave stood battered but alive, its city scarred yet unbroken. Among the humans, grief and awe intermingled, for their young captain was gone, sacrificed to give them a future. But his last words echoed like a prophecy, unity born from blood and fire. Now, For the first time since Earth's fall, humanity stood not as scattered remnants, but as one people, tempered by loss and defiance. And as the stars slowly cleared, whispers spread through the survivors. This was not the end. It was only the beginning.